Welcome back to the Adaptive Athlete Podcast, the place to hear stories of adaptive athletes in the CrossFit space and beyond. I'm your host, Matt Hotho. On today's episode, I'm talking with Bayleigh Hooper. Bayleigh is a Paralympic rower, a gymnast, a dancer, and just so happens to be a CrossFit Adaptive Games perennial athlete, having competed in the space in 2023, 2024, and going back to the CrossFit Games in 2025. Bayleigh and I had a great conversation about her journey into adaptive sports, discovering what it meant to be an adaptive athlete, and how that all came together for her with a great coach. Check it out. Welcome back to the Adaptive Athlete Podcast. I'm here with Bayleigh Hooper. Bayleigh, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. So you're coming to us from your car. So you are just coming off of work. We were talking earlier, You work with kids in a dance studio.
I do, yeah. My parents own a dance studio in our small town, so I work with kids ages 4 to 18. So just got off work, came in here, and we're on a roll.
Well, hey, thanks for making time for the podcast and for being on today. It's also, I just realized it's so light out your car, like, because you're up north, and so it's probably super long days right now?
Yes, yeah, pretty good. I think sun goes down around 9.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Yeah. Crazy. I mean, not that wild, but still weird to think about.
Yeah. Much better.
Yeah, exactly. So you work in a dance studio. Have you always been a dancer and been into that kind of lifestyle?
Yeah. Yep. I've danced since the age of 2 myself. So basically grew up in the dance studio with my mom. And we also had a gymnastics facility as well. So between dance and gymnastics, it's a pretty active lifestyle as a kid. And basically the gym or dance studio, whatever you want to call it, was like my second home, first home, maybe even.
Yeah.
I think I spent more time there than at my real home. So, yeah.
Nice. So from a young age, whether you knew it or not, you were being started in all the things that would make you one day a really great CrossFitter, which we'll get to all the CrossFit stuff in a minute. But so tell me a little bit about your impairment. You're in the division lower minor, which I think might be confusing to some people just by the title and even the word minor in there. So Can you tell me a little bit about your impairment and the division that you're in?
Yeah, for sure. So I was born with severe bilateral club feet, which basically just means that when I was born, my feet were like turned towards my belly button. And they put cast on when I was like really, really small to try to like correct them, to like straighten them out. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, my one side, my left side required surgery. So they had to like cut reconstructive surgery. So they had to cut all the way around my foot, put some pins in, and then obviously back into a cast for a little bit. Doctor said I would never walk.
Proved them wrong.
So proved them wrong right there. But yeah, no, that's basically it. That's what's so now I guess, growing up, and currently I don't have the ankle mobility in that limb, and my power output is almost non-existent.
Yeah, did I notice that you don't have a calf on that, or an underdeveloped calf anyways on that leg?
Yeah. It's because they cut across like my Achilles tendon. Mm-hmm. And I guess that just stopped the growth on that side. And yeah, there's a lot of muscle atrophy. So just like very, very tiny calf. I actually call it my nugget, my chicken nugget. So it's definitely not the same size as the other one, but it tries to work as hard as it can. And then we just adjust training as needed for it. All the pounding with like Olympic stuff or jumps and just like getting off the bar and things like that, running, all that jazz. There's just a lot of impact on it. So I just have to watch the amount of impact that I have on that foot.
When you say the impact, do you mean like in the ankle joint and like your knee joint? Is that where the pain starts? Or okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's like mostly ankle joint, but it does like my knees aren't great as well. So definitely impacts that as well. And you said so as well on my good leg because it will overcompensate.
Yeah, I was about to ask. So I have cerebral palsy that impacts the right side of my body. So my left side overcompensates.
Yeah.
And so I was just about to ask, like, does that right side and you said you were born
Oh,
bilateral, so both feet were
yeah.
affected, but your right just not
Yes.
as much.
Yes.
So do you find that your right side does fatigue as well?
You know what? That's a hard question because I grew up with it, so I don't really know what like a full strong leg would
Mm,
be like, I guess.
yeah.
But I will say like compared to my left side, my weaker side, I feel like it's obviously stronger than the other
Hmm.
one. So I tend to gravitate to that side to be like, hey, the left side needs some help here.
Yeah.
You want to just take the load a little bit?
So when it comes to like squatting, do you have better
Hmm.
ankle flexion on that right foot then to be able to
Yes.
kind of squat and then you kind of just
Yeah.
get what you can out of that left foot?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
My whole I've noticed that I really tend to shift onto that right side, and then use more obviously of that leg power on that side than my left.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
despite that, I just saw on Instagram you hit what on a squat clean?
200.
200 pounds, 200 freedom units.
200 pounds.
Do you train in kilograms or pounds?
Oh, pounds. I can't do math like that. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes life a lot easier as a CrossFitter, just working in pounds.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
200 pounds, that is amazing. Like, I don't even want to
Thank you.
bat an eye at that because I mean, that's absurd strength. That's really cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a long time coming. So yes, very happy with that.
Very
For
cool.
now, obviously, there's going to be another one. I'm going to be like, oh, can't wait to get 215 or something.
Right. And isn't that so much fun? I mean, obviously for anybody, but also for us adaptives when it's like, you just look back, man, 3 years ago, like a 135 clean for me was, I got scared when those blue plates went on. And now it's like, oh, I can pull that in a Metcon, and just kind of work with that weight a little bit more. And now we're looking at heavier weights and what we do with those.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like one of the things that I love about CrossFit is that there's always something to work on. Like you're never like done. Like you can always get better in some aspect, like whether that's like a little literal physical thing or if that's like mental game, there's always something to work on.
Yeah. So before you got into CrossFit, you were doing dancing, gymnastics, and you mentioned that you had to kind of do some different things with dance and gymnastics because of your impairment. You mentioned in gymnastics, they only had you they had you do all the routines, but there were some certain routines that you preferred. What was your preferred sort of things to do in gymnastics?
Yeah, so that was hard. I'm like stuck between two. Always have been. I loved floor, but not for the tumbling. More so for the dance side of things because it brought that love for dance into my routines. Everyone knew that I was a dancer on the gym side. You can just like tell when a gymnast is also a dancer. But so I gravitated more towards those leaps and jumps more than the tumbling. And then my other favorite was uneven bars. So
uneven bars because you didn't have to use your feet a whole lot except for keeping them together, right? And using them for a kip. Yeah. That's cool.
Which obviously helps in CrossFit as well.
It keeps coming back to CrossFit. I keep trying so hard to be like, let's not just talk about CrossFit. But I can't help it because you know what CrossFitters love to do?
Talk about CrossFit.
Exactly. It's a trap. I can't get out of it. But we're going to try. So in the late 2010s, like in 2017, 2018, you got into rowing. And that journey took you to some really cool places. So how did you get into that? And where did it take you?
Yeah. Okay. In 2017, fall of 2017, I went away to university or college, whatever you want to call it. And I had just finished like my dance and gymnastics career at home. But one of the things that I loved about dance and gymnastics was like the community around it and obviously like being active, but all my friends were in dance and gymnastics basically. So I knew going away to school that like a great way to meet friends and things was to join a club or a sport of some sort.
Yeah.
So I ended up trying for two. One was rowing, which was like completely new, different to me. I had a family friend who used to dance at our studio. who was on the national team at the time. And she
Wow.
was like, oh my gosh, Bayleigh, the school that you're at has a really great rowing team. Like you should try it out. And like having her go from dance to rowing made me like, oh my gosh, like maybe I can do this too, sort of thing. So I tried out for rowing, and then I also tried out for cheerleading, the cheerleading team, which like obviously my gymnastics background would have helped a lot with. Again, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to think about it, I made both teams. However, my program was not going to allow me to do both just because one was like really early in the mornings. The other one was at really late at night, just too much.
And, you got to study at some point.
At some point in there, you're at school to go to school.
Right.
So I decided, I was like, you know what? Let's go with rowing. If after a year of doing this, if I don't like it, I can always try out for cheer next year, like if it doesn't work out. So made the novice rowing team. Absolutely hated my life for the first 2 weeks. I think I cried like every day. I was like, what am I doing? This is awful.
Well, because you're waking up like super early, right?
Oh yeah. Waking up at 4:30 like a.m., like getting to the boathouse for 5. We're on the water by 5:30. Don't get off till like, I don't know, 7. You're at an 8 a.m. class. Like 8 a.m. feels like 2 p.m. Like just like wild, right? But also it was completely like a different, I'm going to get scientific here, like a different aerobic like system, right? Because I'm used to going from like a max floor routine is like 90 seconds long, like if that. Whereas like rowing, our standard race length is 2 kilometers, which is anywhere for us in a boat, like between 7 to 9 minutes, depending, right? So that was totally new to me, and I wasn't so much an endurance athlete back there. I like the sprinty stuff, right? So that was like another huge learning curve. So yeah, hated my life. And then we had a really great fall season that year. Ended up winning like OUAs and all of the other regattas that we went to.
And at this point, by the way, this is just an able-bodied team.
Oh, sorry. Yes, this is just able-bodied.
No, totally. I just wanted to clarify that for people listening. Like, I mean, you're just competing with able-bodied teams, winning, succeeding, having a great experience.
Great experience. Loved it. Again, I don't know if I had mentioned this before, but up until now, up until then, I didn't know that like my club feet and my life that I had a disability until at the end of the fall season. I was like, you know what? I actually do enjoy rowing. Let's like continue and let's get into like off season. So like winter training, which happens to be a lot of kilometers on the erg, like the indoor rowing machine.
Wow.
Great. And it was there that one of like the next gen coaches came up to me and actually noticed my fingers. So I was born, along with my club feet, I was born with amniotic bands wrapped around my 3 fingers on my right side. And when I was born, they were black and they were supposed to just fall off, but they all hung on. They just look very different than a normal hand would look like. And I don't have the same grip strength in that side. But to me, it's fine. Again, something I've always just grown up with and dealt with. But yeah, she noticed those. I told her about it. And then I was like, actually, like, I was born with club feet. This leg isn't as strong as my other one all my life. I grew up just like working around it, I guess you could say. My trips to sick kids were like normal, like to me, like they were presented normal. And she was like, wow, like there might be like this great opportunity here for you, and kind of talked about adaptive and the para rowing team and things like that. And that's like, I'm like 18 at this point. So like my whole world kind of just did like a flip 180. And I sat with it for a little bit and I was like, you know what, like it wouldn't hurt to like go through this process, see what it's like one door closes and another one opens. Let's see. And from there, that would have been in like December of 2017. In February of 2018, I got invited to like our like provincial team camp. And then in March, I was out at a national team camp. And that would have been March of 2018. And then in August of 2018, I went to my first para world championships for rowing.
Wow.
So it was very fast tracked.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's how I got into it. Obviously, looking back, very grateful for, deciding that I was going to stick with rowing, considering it didn't look very great the first 2 weeks. And very grateful for all the opportunities it gave me, and then opening up this now looking back and say this like whole other world that
Yeah.
I get to be a part of and be around these strong adaptive athletes. Like, yeah, just crazy how, again, something small in the moment is such a big change. Like, again, like your life can just flip at any moment. So in this, for me, it was like a really great experience.
Yeah, and then you got to go to the Paralympics in Tokyo in 2021. I mean, let's not bury the lead there. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was again like kind of different because it was still COVID.
Yeah.
But our crew, we ended up not going to the World Championships in 2019 because we didn't have like a full boat, like full crew at that time. So we were hoping to go to the last chance qualifier, which was in Italy, I believe in 2021. And so it was like, not really sure if you're going to even get to go to the Paralympics or even like qualify. And then luckily we did. We won in Italy, which got like punched our ticket to Tokyo. And then thankfully, we were able to go. There was no spectators, so that was kind of different. Obviously, it would be like a CrossFit competition. Everyone's like super quiet.
Yeah,
which like, isn't really the norm.
Right.
But no, my crew, my boat crew, like again, like amazing people with all incredible stories, and like one of, or if not like the hardest people, like working people I know for their sport. So again, another great opportunity. But yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And so then after all of that, you end up in a CrossFit gym in like 2022, start checking this thing out. 2023, I'm just going to run through this really quickly and then we're going to talk about little highlights. But 2023, you end up qualifying for the CrossFit Games, the first time they field an adaptive well, not the first time, but they fielded an adaptive field in Madison, 5 women in the lower minor or lower extremity is what it was called. Then you also go to the Wheelwad Games in Raleigh that same year. And then 24, you're at the Wheelwad Games or the CrossFit Games by Wheelwad in San Antonio. And you're qualifying hopefully again for the Wheelwad Game or the CrossFit Games this year. I mean, so your CrossFit, your athletic potential has just continued to shine and show through. So that's really cool. Thanks. And yeah, you're welcome. And what I want to talk about for a little bit is like in the CrossFit space, so much of what happens is sort of a coach-athlete relationship, right? Especially at this level where it's like, okay, you're working with someone who is learning your adaptation, learning what you need, learning how you need to be pushed across, like you identified, not just the aerobic, but the anaerobic, right? Both time domains and further even out than just a 2K, right? Like like that workout that we did to start the games last year, right? That good 22-minute, burner. And your coach, I would assume, is helping you figure out how do I do all these with my limitations that are because of my adaptation. So tell me a little bit about the journey that you and your coach have been on. Feel free to give your coach a shout out, by the way. Coaches are amazing. But yeah, tell me a little bit about some of the stuff that you worked on when you were first getting into competitive CrossFit.
Yeah. Well, shout out first to my coach, Emily Bass at Built Strength and Conditioning. Has been probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. So yeah, she's amazing. Can't say enough good things about her. But yeah, in training, again, like you said, like a learning curve, kind of for like the both of us. I'm kind of like her. She calls me like her guinea pig of CrossFit. She hasn't had like any like semifinal athletes or anything like that, so I'm kind of like the first one to like go through it with her, which I mean is really great. So my first year, we were both very fresh to this whole thing. I think we've kind of gotten our role a little better now. But yeah, in training, it was just because, especially the first year, because I was so new to the sport. Again, like I started in the fall, September or October of 2023. And then November like the open? No, sorry. February was the open.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then the games were in August. So that's not a ton of time to like get everything ready to go.
You had 7 months to figure out weightlifting, gymnastics, and monostructural. So you've got it. You got plenty of time.
I was like, I rode. I kind of know what I'm doing there.
Right.
I do gymnastics. What is a handstand push-up? Could not tell you, but I will give it a go. We'll see.
Yep.
No, so yeah, again, learning everything was a bit of a curveball for the both of us. And then, yeah, I honestly, that is like such a blur looking back on. I do remember doing like some 2-a-days and having some, obviously, like anyone else, really tough days. But in terms of like adapting or scaling, it would be the same thing, I think, that we do now. It's just like being very mindful about how much I am doing, especially to that left side, whether I think about it or not. Like it would be anything with like pounding or compact work. So Olympic lifts, whether I like it or not, tend to be very hard on that foot, ankle, knee, all that jazz. And like box jumps or like double unders. Like I remember remember waking up from the wheel wad in North Carolina the morning after we had our double unders, and I could not walk.
Oh no.
I was like, oh my gosh. I was like penguin, like walking like a penguin. I don't know what was going on. And I was like, okay, well, that's clearly, we did dubs yesterday, so that's clearly what it's from. Yep, good, sweet. Yeah, I was not okay. Yeah. So again, it's just being mindful about impact work. And then because of that impact work, I tend to like overcompensate on my good side. So again, being mindful, doing lots of recoveries, contrast work, going to see physio, going to see massage, making sure that I'm doing like my homework on my own. And then just, I don't know, my coach is very good at like making sure when we program or when she programs for me that we adjust where needed if something comes up, or I don't know, like adjustments again, if we need to, if it ends up something's just like too much that week. But I think in hindsight, we have a really good like communication system now. In 2023, I was a little bit more stubborn. I was like, oh, it's fine. But like, I'm getting old. My body's getting cranky some days.
That's fair.
So we need to preserve as long as we can.
Yeah. And I would imagine that too, after like 2 years of working with your coach, sometimes she can see a workout as is written and maybe see some potential hangups in there that you might not see sometimes, because we're stubborn as the athletes, right? It's like, I'm doing all those thrusters unbroken. And your coach is like, absolutely not.
No, you're not.
And you're like, no, I am. And then that's why we have redos.
Yes, exactly.
A chance to do it Bayleigh's way and a chance to do it Emily's way.
And you know what? She will love me for saying this, but Emily is always right.
Oh,
funny enough. Emily is always right. And I hate saying that she's always right, but she is.
Yeah. It's funny about coaches, man. They seem to know us better than we do sometimes. My coach will get a kick out of hearing that. He'll be excited. So what are you looking forward to in the 2025 games? What was your experience like in 2024 on the stage in San Antonio? And then what are you looking forward to in 2025?
Oh boy. 2024, what I loved most about it is that every division was there. And I think it's a really big and great step for the adaptive community. So like having everyone there, seeing everyone, seeing all the like, not modifications, but what each division it was like the same workout, but like different, obviously, like adjusted for our divisions. So that was like really cool to see, really inspiring too. And I think what I don't know, looking forward to most, like that. I don't know, just going back potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know, proving again, just working me versus me again, just seeing what Kevin can throw at us and what we can we can do with it.
Yeah. So I have two things I want to say about that. One, you dropped that line, me versus me, which I think is into your mindset, right? And I think your mindset is really important. You've shared a little bit of it before we started recording, a little bit during this interview right now, but I want to just kind of sit there for a second, and then I want to talk about Kevin for a minute. But yeah, tell me more about that mindset. You say me versus me. You've also said, I'm not really focused on the leaderboard a whole lot. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I try not to be as focused on the leaderboard. Obviously, we all are, or at least in a way. But my coach and I have really tried working on that. Like, no matter the event, no matter how it goes, as long as I come off the floor or the field or whatever, feeling like I put my best foot forward and I did the best that I could, I stuck to our game plan and things like that, then, and I walk away and I'm happy with how my performance, then that's all that should matter in the end. It shouldn't matter about placing. Obviously, yes, we're all competitive,
right?
Or else we wouldn't be here. So yeah, in a sense, that is still a big play. However, we again, my coach and I have worked on it very hard that placing isn't always the winner. Because it could be anyone's day. I used to say that for gymnastics too. It could be anyone's day. Someone could have a really great day. Someone could have a slightly off day. That's the beauty about sport and season and trying to peak at the right time and things like that. But yeah, I have Emma Lawson's belt. I think is it me versus me or you versus you, something like that. So yeah, I try to do, she's like a fellow Canadian as well. So yes, represent. So I've really tried to adopt that as much as possible. I just focus on me, make sure I'm doing what I can, and bettering myself, not only on the floor, but also upstairs in my head as well.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's an important place to take care of too, right?
Yeah.
It kind of drives the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then to Kevin Ogart and his programming, you kind of hinted at it, what he's going to throw at us. Let's just love on Kevin for a second, because his programming and what he's able to challenge us with, I mean, it's amazing. Can you think of one time that he's thrown something at you that you've been like, whoa, I was not expecting that?
Honestly, this past semis with, we had ring muscle ups, and
yes.
I was like, okay, let's go. I was like, this is exciting. It's just again, the growth of the adaptive community and adding those in. I thought that was a great move on his programming part. So, I mean, very difficult movement, but seeing those difficult movements show up, in the other semi workout, there was a barbell complex, built to your max after the part A. I thought that was also really, really cool that it was a complex and not just one max lift. So that's also exciting.
Yeah, I think the two that I would think about would be similar to the two that you gave me. I love that they programmed us a 2-parter to kind of give us that ability to get some extra points on the board and a more complete test. And then I really did love that final test with the interval style. Because it just rewarded a little bit of strategy and a little bit of how well can you recover and how well can you really ride that line of getting to 90, 95% and then getting recovered to hit it again 5 times. I was going to say
30 seconds is not a lot of rest.
It's not. No, there were some mall walks I was doing on those shuttle runs. Very deliberate walking.
And speed walk.
Yes. And go 4 times. Yeah. All right. Can I hit you with a quick lightning round?
Sure.
All right. Awesome. So you were a rower and you rode on a boat and then you rode on an erg. What's one thing that people who row on an erg get wrong?
You pull with your arms too soon.
Got to use your legs.
You gotta use your legs. They're your biggest muscle. Why would you use your arms?
Do you take your feet off of the foot plates, or do you keep your feet secured the whole time?
At what part?
So at the catch.
Yeah.
At the catch, are they up, and then you bring them down as quick as you can?
Well, my one side is up. My other side is down.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have great mobility.
Yep. But then you get that good side down as fast as you can?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to work on my rowing technique. I feel like
All
I'm
right.
tall, 6'2". Got to get that rowing technique dialed in, man.
I was going to say, you have a gift for being tall in the
I know.
rower. Use it.
I'm working against myself here, man.
Your legs.
All right. So you're at competition. You're like an hour out from your workout starting. What is your pre-workout snack that you're going to be hitting?
Oh, any kind of candy. That's bad.
Any kind?
An hour out?
Okay, 30 minutes
Maybe
out?
like 30
minutes
minutes.
out?
Yeah. No, not any. That's a lie. Any type of like gummy I like. Or specifically like a sour gummy is great. However, I do also like, don't laugh at me on this, but they're like applesauce packets, but they're not applesauce. They're like baby food.
Oh, no, 100% right here. I'm guilty. Go squeezers.
It's like, yes, kind of like that. But it's like, it's got, I'm weird and I like my vegetables. So there's like apples, there's some carrot in there, there's a peach. Like, I don't know.
Hold on. Does it have a picture of a baby on the front of it?
Not the ones I get. It says 8+ months, and that's me. So sure, I'll shoot it back.
I mean, technically, I am on the other side of that equation. I am more than 8 months old, so
exactly. Why can't I have it?
Why can't I have it? And you can, Bayleigh. You can.
I can. Mm-hmm.
You work really hard. You're about to work really hard. You know what you need?
Yes.
Baby food.
I need a baby food.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. What is one thing you're obsessed with right now?
Oh, right now? Oh, this is bad because I'm usually not obsessed with shows, like TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
But my coach actually got me on this one too. But younger, it's like...
Oh my gosh.
Yes!
It's so...
so good. And you can watch it for hours. It's bad. It's
no, you're
good.
like Sutton Foster. You were made for this role.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's great. How far have you gotten?
Oh, I'm still okay. This is the thing. I say I'm obsessed, and then I'll watch like 2 episodes because I'm my grandma, and I go to bed at 9 p.m. So I'm only starting season 2. But you know what? That's a good stretch for me.
When we get to Las Vegas, I got one question for you. Are you Team Josh or are you Team Charles? That's what's gonna. You'll have to. You'll have to figure that one out.
Know.
Yeah, you're gonna have to let me know, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Team Josh. Okay. Last question. If you have control of Spotify at the dance, well, not at the dance studio, at the gym, what are you playing?
My go-to is For Forever by Chris Brown.
Okay. I mean,
it's such a good song.
It is. You think about The Office, or you think about that wedding, video.
I don't know if I would work out to it. Actually, not. It depends on what the workout is. You know, like if I'm doing a longer piece, like I need something hype, like a big booty mix or a good SoundCloud mix. Like those are great. But or like today I had like a mix of Rihanna. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
depends,
I think Forever would be good, like warm up music. You kind of want to get loose and into it before you start the workout.
To me, it's a feel good song. So like if I'm about to do a not so great workout, I'm putting my feel good song on.
Okay. There you go. There's a fine line between a feel good song and an in your feels song.
Yes.
And you can't cross that line.
It's like just above it. Yeah.
Yes. You're like in a set of 20 wall balls, 13 wall balls, and you're like, why am I crying right now? What just happened?
Why am I crying?
What changed?
It's just wall balls. Well, yeah, I do. My coach will like this. I do cry a fair bit, so that's good. That's fine.
Okay, fair. All right, that was a fantastic lightning round. That was so much fun. I got 2 final questions for you as we wrap up.
Okay.
All right. So this podcast is a lot about encouraging, hopefully, people who find this podcast who maybe are able-bodied and know somebody who's adaptive to try out adaptive sports, right? Like you were saying, like you were raised by parents who just didn't make you feel like you were different, which is great. But then when you were 8, when in 2018, you discovered this whole other realm of place that you could be competing. So what would you say to someone who maybe knows a kid who's adaptive or knows somebody who's adaptive that wants to get into adaptive CrossFit?
Go for it. Like, I don't regret stepping into my CrossFit gym for 1 second. The community that's involved with it, like, you're going to meet so many incredible people, not just in the adaptive world, but the people that you surround yourself with in the gym. They're going to be so supportive, so uplifting there through the hard parts. And you're only going to better yourself in the end. And again, I'm going to go back to my saying, like, you versus you.
Yeah.
And you're going to come out stronger, whether that's, again, physically or just challenging yourself in a way. So I would, say go for it.
That's
and
awesome.
Go for it and don't look back. Hard work pays off, and you versus you in the end.
I like that. All right. And one final question. If you could go back and encourage a younger version of yourself, what would you tell her?
Oh boy. Be brave. You're going to go through a lot of challenges, but in the end, you're going to meet so many incredible people and become a person you never thought you would be. You will be more capable than you think. Yeah.
That's so true.
I think that's what I say. Yeah. Because, like, again, like, without stepping into the gym or trying out for that rowing team that I hated so much in the beginning, I wouldn't be here. And I'm very grateful to be here with the people that I have surrounded around me. So I think that's what I would say.
Yeah. Bayleigh, this was so much fun.
I had so much fun.
I can't wait to meet you in person at Vegas. Say hey, cheer you on.
Let's get a picture.
Yes, for sure. Thanks so much for joining us for the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate you reaching out and taking me on.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of the podcast. As I hinted at the beginning, Bayleigh's story is really a story of being in multiple sports, but discovering her identity as an adaptive athlete. I loved how when she started rowing in college, she didn't even know what adaptive sports were until someone approached her and said, hey, you should try out for the Paralympic team. I think for many of us, that has been our experience, especially if we were born with our disability, right? We haven't known anything different. And so for us, discovering adaptive CrossFit was an opportunity to do something that we already loved, CrossFit, but do it in a way that allowed our unique abilities, our distinct abilities, to be highlighted in a competitive space. If you enjoyed this conversation, I hope that you will like and subscribe to the podcast. Share it with a friend. We've got tons of other conversations coming out over the next couple of months. I am so excited to be doing this with this community, for this community. I'm Matt Hotho, and I'll see you guys next time.